Hello and welcome to Round Glass. My name is Abigail Somma, and I'd like to thank you so much for joining me for our series, Building Calm and Connection with Your Kids, with our kids. In today's practice, we'll be working with emotions, accepting and allowing whatever arises during our practice. I am joining you from Vienna, Austria, where I live here with my family, and I would love to have you share in the chat where you're meditating from today. And whether you're in North America or Europe, like I am, or in Asia, wherever you are welcome here today, and it's nice to have you meditating with us. So to begin, I'd like to invite you to check in with yourself and see how you're arriving to today's session. Let's all take a deep breath in and notice where we're at today. And wherever you are in your journey right now, in this moment, just breathe into that. Okay, so today we're all about emotions. A friend of mine says that in parenting, the highs are higher and the lows are lower, emotionally speaking. And there are studies out there that show that parenting actually decreases life satisfaction, at least in the United States. And of course, that's not the case for everybody, but I can kind of see how it happens because other people are really complicated, and being entirely responsible for them, sometimes around the clock when we ourselves are tired and exhausted, can be very challenging. But as you probably know, if you have a look at social media, the way that we present ourselves as parents, it often doesn't look like it's so hard. Last week, for example, there was something running around on social media, National Sons Week and National Sons Day and National Daughters Day, which became kind of a thing on social media. And parenting looks really fun and cute and happy. Even myself, I posted some of my happy pics. And that's really great in a way because we want to celebrate the high highs. We need to celebrate the high highs and share in our pride and our happy moments with our friends and our family. But we also know that those happy moments aren't the whole story. And when we only see people's high highs, sometimes it can make us feel like we're doing something wrong. Like like what's wrong with us? Everybody else seems like they've got it figured out. We don't really see people's breakdowns, the fighting, the exhaustion, the crying, the cringing. We don't see the mom on the subway who wants to die because the kids are fighting like crazy, which maybe happened to me this past week. But the point is, whether we see it on Instagram or not, we know that it can be really, really hard. And we know it because we live it and we feel it. And we've all had those moments and we've all had those uncomfortable feelings that come along with those moments: embarrassment, guilt, doubt, shame, frustration, anger, disgust, despair. These are all part of what it means to be a human. And we all feel these feelings even in our parenting lives or even often in our parenting life. And the human tendency is to want to just get rid of those feelings, to sort of pass them away like a hot potato, get rid of them as fast as possible. And we have many different ways that we try to do that, shout them away or eat them away or hide them away, text them away, gossip them away, drink them away, whatever the case may be. And these tendencies are normal human tendencies, but not always the best way to address our difficult feelings, because hard feelings have a way of finding their way back to us. There's an expression that you may have heard before, that which we resist persists. And if we run away from difficult feelings often run right back after us. And so I would say this is one of the reasons why I became a mindfulness practitioner and then a teacher to try to deal with these difficult feelings. And and to learn the skill of turning toward them as opposed to running away from them. So, from a mindfulness perspective, we want to allow those feelings, sit with them, get curious about them, give them space to breathe, as it were, and then we become comfortable with the sensations and the feelings of being uncomfortable. And not that I have mastered that, or I expect many people have mastered that, but that's the idea. And hopefully, ultimately, we also become more skillful in how we respond to our difficult feelings, and that's a process, that's a journey. And the other thing that's so important is that as we become more comfortable allowing ourselves to feel our difficult feelings, we can give permission to our children to feel their difficult feelings. And I think that's really hard for many parents. I think that's again, it's a process, it's a journey to allow our kids the space to feel their feelings without correcting them. And I think in the past, my kids might make a mistake and they would come to me and they would say, I'm stupid, and that would be sort of triggering. And so I would want to jump in and say, no, you're not. No, don't say that. Don't say something mean about yourself. And I think what I'm trying to do now, and I do it more often, is to say, well, I think what you're trying to tell me is that you feel stupid right now, or you feel disappointed in yourself. But that feeling will pass, and maybe later you won't feel stupid. And so, giving them that permission to just have a bad feeling, which we all need. So in our practice today, that's what we're going to work on, giving ourselves permission to feel. And I will ask you to think of a recent parenting challenge, like the one I mentioned, being on the subway, or something else that's not major, about a 3 or a 4 out of a 10. Another example might be a child that didn't clean their room, some frustration of that nature. And we will just allow that feeling to arise and practice turning toward it. And we will use the word yes to symbolize our willingness to accept all feelings, whatever arises, which in itself is actually a form of self-compassion. So let's begin. Let's find a comfortable seat, some combination that is both relaxed and alert, straightening our backs. Can put your feet on the floor or sit cross-legged or lie down, whatever works for you best today. And let's gently lower our gaze or close your eyes completely. And begin by taking a few full, deep breaths. Filling up the chest and the abdomen. Long, slow inhale. Gently releasing on the exhale. And just noticing how the body feels with these deep breaths. Bring your awareness to the pathway of the breath. With kind and gentle attention. If thoughts arise, gently returning to the in-breath and the out-breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And as we settle into our meditation, notice again how you're arriving today. When you take a moment to be fully present with yourself, what do you notice? Any feelings, sensations? Whatever is present, greet it with a gentle yes. Now scan through your body from the top of your head, through your neck, shoulders, arms, torso, legs, feet. What is pleasant and what is unpleasant? Offer a yes to all of it. If you don't notice anything in particular, extend a yes to that too. Notice and welcome whatever is present with kindness. See if even what hurts or feels hard can be allowed in this moment, can be greeted with a yes. Now let's call to mind a slightly troubling situation, something that triggered or upset you in recent days related to your parenting. And see if you can recreate that picture in your mind's eye. When you bring this situation to mind, what is the story that you tell yourself about this situation? What kind of feelings does this story bring up? And where do they manifest in the body? Without labeling them as good or bad, become curious about these feelings, like an observer. And greet these feelings with a yes too, as though they are fully welcome. Just notice the human capacity to hold difficult emotions without reacting to them. And if you like, you can lay a hand across your chest. Now let go of those feelings, returning your attention to the breath. And consider that our emotional experiences are always changing, like weather patterns in the sky. Within ourselves, sometimes we experience life storms, and other times, the clarity of a clear blue sky. We can practice accepting and allowing it all, recognizing that each emotion has its place and its purpose in our lives. And now I would like to read the poem, The Guest House, by the Sufi poet Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And for the next few minutes, we'll sit with this image of the guest house, accepting and allowing all of our emotions. If you like, you can always return your attention back to your breath. And as we close, draw your attention gently back to your breath. Taking a few final last cycles of breath. And at your own pace, and whenever you're ready, bringing your attention back to our shared space. Okay, welcome back, everyone. If there are any questions, I would be happy to take them now. I can also recap a few points from our session. Okay, let's start with a question. What's the best way to take this practice off of the cushion? Well, we will be talking about that a little bit more when we do our session on triggers, and how we can, in the moment when we're triggered, allow ourselves to feel that trigger and draw our attention toward it, noticing it without immediately reacting to it. Hopefully, being in this position and the space where we can feel the discomfort, that moment when someone says something that you really didn't like, or let's say your kid does something that you didn't really like, and you bring awareness to what's happening. Even that awareness can help us slow down. So I think that's one way to bring it into our what I call our normal waking hours. Okay, and let me take one other question. When do you like to do this meditation? When is it most effective? I do this meditation when I'm sad. I do this meditation when I have anxiety. think that being able to sit with difficulty is something that I've really tried to cultivate over the years. I don't always sit with difficulty. If I have a craving for a piece of chocolate or a coffee, I often get it. But when it's bigger things like anxiety or fear or sadness, I really try to be with those feelings. Yeah, and for me, that's when it's most effective. Yeah. Okay. So let me do our recap now, and just as a reminder, in case you need this reminder today, if you are struggling in your life as a parent, you are in very good company, no matter what you see on social media. And this kind of meditation is really useful for reminding us that by accepting our difficult feelings, by getting curious about them, by allowing ourselves to hold them, becoming patient with them, we can change our relationship with them. They don't have as much power over us as they did previously. And that's not to say that this is an easy practice, but it does get easier over time. And like anything and everything, the more we practice, the better we get at it. And the second point I want to bring up is that it's not just that it's a benefit to ourselves and our own well-being, but as we become more tolerant with our feelings, we become more tolerant of our children's feelings, and then they in turn become more tolerant of their own feelings. So there's kind of like a virtuous circle that goes on. Um, yeah. And then finally, I think one of the things I like about The Guest House by Rumi is that it reminds us that sometimes we have to feel our way through the hard feelings to get to the better stuff, to get to the more joyful and pleasant emotions. And a friend of mine sometimes says the only way to get through it is to go through it. So this week, I would like to invite you to spend a little bit of time with your challenging feelings and see if you can greet them with that sense of patience and tolerance, and recognizing that all feelings are part of the human experience and have their place. So I just want to thank you again for being here today, for joining me, for practicing with me. And as a reminder, you can meditate with Round Glass Live every single day. You can go to the website, round.glass, or check out the app. And I will be back next week for my next live session. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And remember that wherever you are on your journey is where you're supposed to be. Thanks.